Welcome. In the deepest corners of the human experience, a solitary act of despair often unfolds: suicide. We tend to see it as the most private of tragedies, a final, isolated choice made by a single, troubled soul. We search for personal reasons: unrequited love, financial ruin, a moment of madness. But what if we've been looking at the wrong thing? What if this intensely personal act is, in fact, a symptom of a larger unseen force? History has given us a man who was the first to ask this unsettling question, a pioneering sociologist who dared to apply the cold, hard logic of science to the most emotional of human acts. He argued that the invisible bonds of society, or the lack thereof, could be more powerful than any personal sadness. Today we delve into the heart of a difficult truth with Émile Durkheim to discuss his masterpiece, Suicide, and his revolutionary idea that the tragedy of the individual is, in fact, a reflection of the health of the collective. Born in the French town of Épinal in 1858, Émile Durkheim was a brilliant and methodical thinker who would go on to found the discipline of sociology. A product of the French academic system, he was a secularist who was deeply concerned with the political and social instability of his time. He was convinced that society could be studied as an object, just like a star or an atom, and that social phenomena could be explained by other social phenomena. He spent his life meticulously developing his theories, publishing seminal works on the division of labor and the nature of religion. His most famous and controversial work, however, was his study of suicide. In this book, he used statistical data from across Europe to prove that this most personal of acts was, in fact, a social fact, a phenomenon that could be explained by the social forces at work in a community. His work established sociology as a legitimate academic discipline. Our conversation today will be centered on Émile Durkheim's groundbreaking work, Suicide. Published in 1897, this book is a classic of sociology. In it, Durkheim challenges the prevailing view that suicide is a purely psychological or moral issue. By using statistical data from across Europe, he argues that suicide rates are not random, but are stable and predictable. He shows that these rates vary according to a society's level of social integration and social regulation, and that they are influenced by factors like religion, marital status, and economic stability.
Monsieur Durkheim, thank you for joining us. Your book, Suicide, is a masterpiece of social science, but its central argument is unsettling to many. You argue that suicide is a social fact. What do you mean by this?
A social fact is any way of acting, thinking, or feeling that is external to the individual and that has a coercive power over him. It exists on its own plane. Suicide, while committed by an individual, has a rate that is determined by the social forces at work in a society. My study shows that these rates are stable and predictable for each society, and they change in predictable ways. It is a tragedy of the individual, but it is a symptom of a larger social condition.
You categorize suicide into different types. Can you explain the types that relate to social integration?
Yes. Egoistic suicide occurs when a person is not well integrated into a social group. They feel isolated and alone. They have no strong social bonds to hold them. The suicide of a Protestant is more likely than that of a Catholic, for instance, because the Catholic Church is a more tightly integrated social group. Altruistic suicide, on the other hand, occurs when a person is too integrated. They see themselves as nothing more than a part of a larger whole and are willing to die for the group, such as a soldier dying for his country.
And what about the types that relate to social regulation?
These are related to the moral and legal order of a society. Anomic suicide occurs when a society's norms and rules have broken down. There is a state of anomie, a kind of moral confusion. This can happen in times of great economic depression or even in times of great economic prosperity. People no longer know what is expected of them, and they feel lost. Fatalistic suicide, the rarest type, occurs when a person is too tightly regulated. Their lives are so rigidly controlled that they see no hope for the future.
Your work suggests that a healthy society must strike a balance. Is that true?
Yes, the great society is one that finds a balance between the collective and the individual. It must provide enough social integration and regulation to prevent anomie and egoism, but not so much that it leads to fatalism and a lack of individual freedom. It is a delicate and difficult balance.
In your view, what is the role of religion in society?
Religion is a social fact. It is a system of beliefs and practices that unites a community into a single moral body. It is a powerful source of social integration. It is not about a god, but about a community's shared values and rituals. Religion is the collective consciousness of a society.
You argued that even crime is a social fact. How is that possible?
Crime is a normal and necessary part of every society. It is normal because a society without crime would be one of total conformity, which would stifle all individual expression and progress. It is necessary because it is only by punishing crime that a society can reaffirm its values. The criminal is not just an offender, he is a part of the moral life of the society.
You make the case that suicide rates among unmarried people are higher than among married people. Why is this so?
The institution of marriage is a powerful form of social integration and regulation. It connects a person to a family and a community, and it provides a clear set of norms and duties. For an unmarried person, these bonds are weaker, and there is a greater chance of both egoistic and anomic suicide.
What is the relationship between economic cycles, booms and busts, and suicide rates?
In my study, I found that suicide rates increase in times of both great economic depression and in times of great economic prosperity. In a depression, the norms of society break down, and people feel a sense of anomie. But in a boom, the norms are also disrupted. People's desires grow faster than their ability to satisfy them, and they feel a sense of moral confusion. Both lead to a feeling of being unanchored.
What is the role of the family in a society's health?
The family is the most fundamental unit of a society. It is the first place where a person learns to be social, where they learn to be integrated into a collective. A society of strong families is a society that is well integrated and less prone to the dangers of egoism.
You also studied the role of education. How does a lack of education affect a society?
A lack of education leads to a lack of shared values and a lack of critical thinking. A society that is not well educated is a society that is prone to anomie and to the passions of the mob. Education is a tool for creating a shared rational consciousness, and it is a powerful force for social integration.
What do you see as the role of the state in modern society?
The state is not a tyrant, but a moral institution. Its purpose is not just to maintain order, but to be the voice of the collective consciousness. It must act to ensure that the individual is not left to the mercy of his own egoistic desires and that the collective good is served.
What is your message to the modern world, which is still struggling with issues of isolation and social breakdown?
I would say that the solution is not to look inward to the individual soul. The solution is to look outward to the collective body. You must strengthen your social bonds. You must create institutions that give a person a sense of belonging and a sense of purpose. A society that is not well integrated is one that is in crisis.
In our time, we see the rise of social media and online communities that promise connection but often create isolation. How would your philosophy apply to this?
I would say that your online communities are a kind of pseudo-integration. They give the appearance of connection, but they are not a substitute for the face-to-face, real-world bonds that are the true source of social health. An online community can give a person a sense of belonging, but it is a fragile, fleeting bond. The real cause of your social illness is in the breakdown of your real-world institutions, your families, your churches, your towns. The solution is not in more online friends, but in more real ones.
If you were alive today, what would be your perspective on the debate surrounding cancel culture, where people and institutions are attacked for violating a certain set of social norms?
I would say that cancel culture is a form of anomic social pressure. It is a symptom of a breakdown in a society's shared moral regulations. When there is a lack of clear, consistent moral rules, a society can become a mob that enforces its own fleeting and often brutal justice. It is a sign of a society that has lost its moral compass, and it is a dangerous form of social coercion.
Closing reflections and summary. And so our time with Émile Durkheim concludes. His masterpiece, Suicide, is a powerful and unsettling work that challenges us to see the world differently. He taught us that even the most private of human acts is shaped by the unseen, powerful forces of society. He reminds us that the health of a society is measured not just by its wealth or its laws, but by its ability to integrate its people and give them a sense of belonging. Durkheim's legacy is a profound and lasting one. He gave us a new way of thinking about the world, a new science for understanding the human condition. He reminds us that we are not just individuals, but social beings, and that our private happiness is inseparable from the well-being of the collective. Thank you for joining us, and until our next dialogue, remember that no one is an island.